Hey, Booktube Sean here, and today is part one of my two-part end of the year book haul. Because I wasn't doing a ton of filming last part of the year, or most of the year, honestly. Let's be honest. There's a lot of books that I kept meaning to film book hauls for, and never got around to filming the book hauls for. So I apologize a little bit that my what will be my last video is probably my book outlet, book haul, and then this one, and then another one, all book haul videos. But as I keep mentioning, don't have a ton of reading to talk about. But I still buy. So I wanted to get these book hauls finally filmed and done and be caught up, and then maybe I won't have to do so much in each one that I do from now on. So let's get it. I have 15 books in this one and then 15 books in the next one. They are in no particular order. They are not in the order that I purchased them in. In fact, I see two of them that are actually top of this year. So there is a little bit of bleed over into the top of this year as well. I just want to get caught up to the best of my knowledge with everything I have acquired in 2018 and now this first part of 2019. I'm not going to stop doing book haul videos, especially when I don't have a ton of reading to talk about, and if I'm going to be judging the Booktube, if I end up judging around one of the Booktube Prize, which I will know if I am or not on Sunday. I won't even be able to talk about those books as I'm reading them. So won't even, if I purchase those books, I won't even really be able to haul them until after I'm done, because then that would clue you in as to what group I'm judging for. So I just realized that too. I won't even be able to haul them until afterwards. So yeah, unless I'm reading outside of books that I'm not judging, which I don't know how much I'm going to be able to do that, then book content from me is going to be sparse for a couple months, unless I do some favorite lists or something. So let me know in the comments if there's any types of favorites lists or what other types of book content you'd like to see me do, because if I'm judging, then that's going to be the bulk of my reading. So yeah, and I will be judging at some point. I don't know if it's going to be round one or not. That'll be randomly selected from the pool of judges, and if I don't judge round one, then I'll have priority for round two. So anyway, let's get into this part one of my end of the year / top of this year book haul. First three books, I'm gonna knock three out in one shot, are the next round of Paperbacks from Hell re-releases from Valancourt Books. The first three have come out, and another one is coming, which I already had pre-ordered. So the first three are Lisa Tuttle, A Nest of Nightmares, T. Chris Martindale, Nightblood, and Elizabeth Engstrom, Black Ambrosia. And like I said, these are a bit pricey for this size of book. These are $17 a piece, which is pricey for this type of book, but I want these Paperbacks from Hell Valancourt re-releases. I just want them. And you will have heard me mention this one in the Black Friday book outlet haul video, but this is a hardcover edition of 12 Kings and Sherika. I don't think I need to go into a great deal of detail about this one. This is book 1 of the series, which I picked up used off of Amazon Marketplace after I knew I had books 2 and 3 coming from Book Outlet. I wanted physical editions of them. I put the 3 small books over here, and now I can't stack on top of those. So I need to put these somewhere else so that I can create a stack over here of what I've talked about. This is a top of the year one here. I was just going to get the Kindle version of this, but then for $1 more, for $4.99, I could get the trade paperback. And I've heard very recently really good things about this series that made me intrigued, and I wish I remembered whose video it was I saw. I want to say it was Cass, what Cass read, but I'm not 100% sure it was her. But whoever it was talked about the series in a way that finally made me interested in it. And that is a YA fantasy series, Truth Witch by Susan Dennard. This has been around a lot in Booktube as well. This book just came out today. My pre-order of it arrived a half an hour ago. I pre-ordered this back in, I want to say, I don't know, like somewhere between August and October, whenever pre-orders were available for it. This was getting a lot of talk from people who went to Book Expo America. This was one of the buzz books from Book Expo America. It was getting a lot of buzz. And apparently, this is American Dirt by Janine Cummings. And it's already, like, upon release, has the Oprah's Book Club 2020 attached to it. So I couldn't even get not that I have anything against Oprah's Book Club, but sometimes, first release of a book, you want the full cover without hers or Reese's emblem there. But this is already coming out with Oprah's Book Club emblem on it, right there in the middle of that bird. Kind of excited about. I discovered this one because of the initial list of voting for the judges voting for what is going to ultimately be the 48 books of the long list for the Booktube Prize. There's a big list, and then the judges kind of vote on what they'd like to see in the long list. And so it introduced me to a lot of books that I hadn't heard of yet, and this was one of them. And it just, whether it gets into the 48 or not, is one I wanted. And it's Delayed Rays of a Star by Amanda Lee Coe. It is at a chance encounter at a Berlin soiree in 1928, the photographer Alfred Eisenstadt captures 3 very different women together in one frame. Up-and-coming German actress Marlene Dietrich, who would wend her way into Hollywood as one of its lasting icons. Anna May Wong, the world's first Chinese-American star, playing bit parts while dreaming of breaking away from her father's modest laundry. And Leni Riefenstahl, whose work as a director of propaganda art films would first make her famous, then infamous. From this curious point of intersection, Delayed Rays of a Star lets loose the trajectories of these women's lives. From Weimar, Berlin to LA's Chinatown, from a bucolic village in the Bavarian Alps to a luxury apartment on the Champs-Élysées. The different settings they inhabit are as richly textured as the roles they play. Siren, victim, predator, or lover. Each one a carefully calibrated performance. And in the orbit of each star live secondary players, a Chinese immigrant housemaid, a German soldier on leave from North Africa, a pompous Hollywood director whose voices and viewpoints reveal the legacy each woman left in her own time, as well as in ours. Amanda Lee Coe's playful wry prose guides the reader dexterously around murky questions of identity, complicity, desire, and indifference. Intimate and clear-eyed, Delayed Rays of a Star is a visceral That's real something. Depiction of womanhood, its particular hungers, its oblique calculations, and its eventual betrayals, and announces a bold new literary voice. This is a debut novel, and it goes into that into classic Hollywood, and I'm a sucker for books that do that, because as I've mentioned recently, I'm a big classic movie fan. And the fact that Marlene Dietrich is a character in this really appeals to me. So I'm really excited about this one. And when I was looking into the books, I even voted for. I'll even say it. I voted for this to be in the top 48 because I was just so there for this one. I may have hauled this before. I don't remember. But this is Monster, She Wrote. The Women Who Pioneered Horror and Speculative Fiction by Lisa Kroger and Melanie R. Anderson. And this is a nonfiction about women horror authors from the beginning. Speculative and horror authors go, it starts back in, let's see, the first one is Margaret Cavendish, 1623 to 1673. So it goes back to the 17th century. And just covers, what it does is it covers an author. It goes through different aspects of horror and the women who wrote in those areas. And so you have the Founding Mothers, Part 2, Haunting Tales, Part 3, Cult of the Occult, and each chapter is focusing on a female speculative fiction or horror author. So it's even you can just sit down and just read one or two little sections, read about one or two authors, and it's not something I can pick away at it just when I'm in the mood for it. And I'm really this is another. I pre-ordered this. This came out last year. Super excited about that one. This is a book called When the Moon Shines by Day by Nayantara Sahgal. I mentioned in my reading and channel goals video how I was starting to look into and get into a little bit more of authors from India and books set in India and authors from India. And this is one I came across as I was doing research. It says, India has changed. Rahana finds her father's books on medieval history have been disappeared from bookstores and libraries. Her young domestic help, Abdul, discovers it is safer to be called Morari Lal in the street, but there is no such protection from vigilante fury for his Dalit friend, Suraj. Kamlesh, a diplomat and writer, comes up against official wrath for his anti-war views. A bomb goes off at Cyrus Batliwala's gallery on the opening day of an art show. Presiding over this new world is the director of cultural transformation, whose smiling affability masks a relentless agenda to create a Hindu master race. In this atmosphere, Rahana and her 3 book club friends, Nandini, Aruna, and Lily, meet every week to discuss a book one of them has chosen. Their oasis of peace amidst the harshness of reality. Even Rahana's German friend, Franz Rohner, haunted by his country's Nazi past, warns of her of what's to come. All revolutions, he wryly observes, follow the same path. But is India about to prove him wrong? In this brilliant dystopian satire, Nayantara Sahgal draws a telling portrait of our times. This just sounded really good to me, and I got it. And the writing, the font is huge. So when I finally, and it's only 167 pages. So once I finally sit down to read this, this is not going to take long to read. This is one that was longlisted for the National Book Award. And when I was looking at possibly trying to read that long list, this is one I grabbed until I realized it wasn't going to happen. But this is Blacklight Stories. It's a short story collection by Kimberly King Parsons. I have read the first story in this called Guts, and I enjoyed it. I've heard really good things about this. There were a couple of people I know that were disappointed that there were 2 short story collections, and one made it in, I can't remember the name of the other one, that made it to the short list. And this was the other one that did not make it to the short list. And I know a couple people were disappointed that this one didn't make it to the short list. So I'm excited to get more into that. Isabel Allende, The House of the Spirits. That bookmark from when I bought it is still there, looking like I'm halfway through the book, and I'm not. But I talked about... Oh, you know what? I talked about this one in the Reading Women Challenge video that wouldn't upload. So you guys haven't seen me talk about this one. Like, I know I talked about this. This is Isabel Allende's first book, and the one I'm going to use for the bonus prompt on the Reading Women Challenge of reading an Isabel Allende book. Isabel Allende is another one of those authors that I've been collecting their books and still haven't read them, but I feel like they are going to be an author that I love, and I want to get to some of those authors this year. I should have made that a goal on my reading goals video to get to the authors that I keep collecting their books. And I am going to get to this one this year. She just had a new book come out today. As I'm filming this, but I didn't pre-order it because I hadn't read any of the ones I have of hers yet, but I am going to get into her this year. The House of Spirits brings to life the triumphs and tragedies of 3 generations of the Truba family. The patriarch Esteban is a volatile, proud man whose voracious pursuit of political power is tempered only by his love for his delicate wife Clara, a woman with a mystical connection to the spirit world. When their daughter Blanca embarks on a forbidden love affair in defiance of her implacable father, the result is an unexpected gift to Esteban, his adored granddaughter, Alba. This beautiful and strong-willed child will lead her family and her country into a revolutionary future. One of the most important novels of the 20th century, The House of the Spirits, is an enthralling epic that spans decades and lives, weaving the personal and the political into a universal story of love, magic, and fate. That sounds fantastic. And I really want to get to this soon. I keep saying I really want to get to this soon, and I know I'm not going to get to everything soon, but I'm getting excited about these as I'm talking to you about them, and it's really putting me into the place I need to be reading-wise, in a reading mindset, especially with possibly judging round 1 of the Booktube Prize. Elemental P, a novel in letters by Mark Dunn. I actually heard about this on... I don't remember what his channel name was before, and I can't remember his name, but the channel, which is now called Another Kick in the CanLit, this was on his previous name. He talked about this in his literary fiction book tag. And it just sounded really interesting. It's epistolary. It's written in letters. And as the book progresses, it kind of in a memory police fashion, where in the memory police items are disappeared. In this, letters of the alphabet are deemed no longer usable. So as the book progresses and they're writing their letters to each other, there become letters of the alphabet they can't use. So that just sounded like such a fascinating concept. And I purchased it. I ordered it like in a day or two after watching his video. I had pre-ordered the paperback of Muse of Nightmares, Laini Taylor. I haven't read Strange the Dreamer yet, but I've heard such fantastic things about it, and I know I'm gonna like Strange the Dreamer. So I wanted to get Muse of Nightmares so that when I read Strange the Dreamer, I can go right into this if I want to. I'm a little bummed like that happened in shipping, which doesn't make me happy, but That's the nature of shipping sometimes. This is the book that won the National Book Award, and I bought this. It's Trust Exercise by Susan Choi. I bought this when I was going to try to at least read the short list for the National Book Award, and at the time I bought it, we were in the long list period, and I thought I might try to read the long list or read books that I thought might make the short list, or hope that whatever I read made the short list. But I will read the description of this, and then I will tell you what appealed to me about it, and then I will go further. In an American suburb in the early 1980s, students at a highly competitive performing arts high school struggle and thrive in a rarefied bubble, ambitiously pursuing music, movement, Shakespeare, and particularly their acting classes. When within this striving brotherhood of the arts, two freshmen, David and Sarah, fall headlong into love. Their passion does not go unnoticed or untoyed with by anyone, especially not by their charismatic acting teacher, Mr. Kingsley. The outside world of family life and economic status, of academic pressure, and of their future adult lives fails to penetrate this school's walls, until it does, in a shocking spiral of events that catapults the action forward in time and flips the premise upside down. What the reader believes to have happened to David and Sarah and their friends is not entirely true, though it's not false either. It takes until the book's stunning coda for the final piece of the puzzle to fall into place, revealing truths that will resonate long after the final sentence. The performing arts school aspect of this is what drew me to this, and why I went ahead and just purchased the hardcover, because it sounded like something I was just going to really like because of my theater background. Since this has won the National Book Award, I actually have not heard great things about it, and it's got me a little bummed about it and not super excited to read it. Right now I'm kind of on the holding out to see if it ends up on the long list for the Booktube Prize, which I'm guessing that there's probably a good chance it will, since it won the National Book Award. But then again, I don't know. I mean, who knows? But I haven't heard fantastic things about this since it won the National Book Award. Most of the channels I watch and things I look at were not excited that this was the winner. So I'm at the point now where if it's on the long list and it's in a group that I'm assigned to read, I'll read it. But if it's not, I don't know when I will get to it, because I'm not super jazzed on it anymore. The last one for this portion of the haul is A Woman Is No Man by Ita Frum. I rejoined Book of the Month, and I started getting some back books, and I'll explain why I rejoined Book of the I'll talk about that in the next book haul video. But I will just read this one real quick. Palestine, 1990. 17-year-old Israel prefers reading books to entertaining the suitors her father has chosen for her. Her desires are irrelevant, however. Over the course of a week, the naive and dreamy girl finds herself betrothed, then married, and soon living in Brooklyn. There, Israel struggles to adapt to the expectations of her oppressive mother-in-law, Farida, and her strange new husband, Adam, a pressure that intensifies as she begins to have children. 4 daughters instead of the sons Israel is expected to bear. Brooklyn, 2008. At her grandmother's insistence, 18-year-old Dea must meet with potential husbands and prepare herself for marriage, though her only desire is to go to college. Her grandmother is firm on the matter, however. The only way to secure a worthy future for Dea is through marriage to the right man. But fate has a will of its own, and soon Dea will find herself on an unexpected path that leads her to shocking truths that will force her to question everything she thought she knew about her family, the past, and her own future. Set in an America at once foreign to many and staggeringly close at hand, A Woman Is No Man is a story of culture, honor, secrets, and betrayals, love and violence. It is an intimate glimpse into a controlling and closed cultural world, and a universal tale about family and the ways silence and shame can destroy those we have sworn to protect. This one has sounded interesting to me for a while, and I'm actually, I have this on my TBR for the Reading Women Challenge for, let's see, yeah, I have that up. Book by an Arab woman. I have another option for that too that would actually fit 2 prompts. That will be in the next part of this book haul. But we are at almost a half an hour, so I'm going to end this one here. That's the first 15 books. This is book haul part 1. And that is more for myself when I am watching back to remember which one I wanted to put out first, and how I told you guys it was happening. So that's it. Thank you to all my subscribers. I appreciate every single one of you. If this is your first time watching one of my videos, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you come back for more. If you want to see more videos from me, I do book videos, I do movie videos, I do cross-stitch videos. If you're interested in any of that, hit that subscribe button, and that's the best way to know when I post new videos. And I'll see you all in the next one.